You know that feeling. It's 11 p.m., you're lying in bed, completely wiped out, and you're thinking, what did I even do today? You answered messages. You put out a dozen little fires. You said yes to everyone who asked for your time. And the one thing that actually mattered to you, you never even opened it. If that hits close to home, take a breath. You're not lazy. You're not behind. You just never learned the one thing that quietly changes everything else. And that's focus. This is The Power of Focus, written by Mark Victor Hansen, along with Canfield and Les Hewitt. And here's the whole idea boiled down. You don't win at life by doing more stuff. You win by doing less stuff on purpose and giving it everything you've got. Most of us are stretched so thin across so many things that nothing ever gets enough energy to actually grow. This book is really just permission to stop trying to do it all and start narrowing in on what actually matters. So let's get into it. First thing the book teaches, you will never build a good life by trying to be good at everything at once. You build it by picking 2 or 3 things that really matter and giving those your full attention. The authors call these your key result areas. For most people, that's something like health, relationships, and one big goal you're chasing. Everything outside of that is just noise pretending to be important. Picture this. Someone decides this month they're going to get fit, save money, learn Spanish, fix their sleep schedule, start a side hustle, and repair a friendship. Sounds motivated, right? But that's not motivation. That's a person setting themselves up to feel like a failure. They'll nibble at all 6 and finish none of them. Now picture someone else who says, this month, I'm only focusing on my mornings and this one project at work. Everything else can wait its turn. That second person actually finishes the month with something to show. Not because they're smarter, just because their energy wasn't sliced into 10 thin, useless pieces. So here's your takeaway. Pick 2 or 3 things that matter most right now. Let everything else sit quietly in the background for a bit. You're not abandoning your whole life. You're just finally admitting that not everything deserves your attention today. Second lesson, and this one might sting a little. We love to believe successful people just have more willpower than us, more discipline in their DNA. The book completely disagrees. It says discipline isn't something you're born with, it's a decision you make once, then turn into a habit, so it stops needing willpower at all. Here's a picture. 2 people both want to write a book. One waits for the right mood, the perfect quiet Sunday, that spark of inspiration. A year later, maybe 10 pages. The other person just writes for 30 minutes every morning before they even touch their phone. Doesn't matter if they feel like it. A year later, they've got a finished draft. The gap between them was never talent. It was one small, boring, repeated action that didn't wait around for motivation. So the takeaway is simple. Stop waiting to feel ready. Pick one small daily habit connected to your biggest goal and protect it like it's sacred. Motivation is unreliable. A habit just runs on autopilot. Third one, this is about what the authors call time bandits. These are the little things quietly stealing your day without you even noticing. Your phone, that extra scroll, replying to something that could have waited, a meeting that didn't need to happen. The book makes a really honest point here. Nobody loses their whole day in one dramatic moment. You lose it in 5-minute leaks over and over until suddenly it's 6 p.m. and you haven't touched the one thing you actually needed to do. You know this one already, don't you? You sit down to work and within 10 minutes you've checked your phone twice, answered a message, opened a random tab. None of it felt like a big deal in the moment. But add it up and there goes your whole afternoon. This isn't because you lack discipline. It's because distractions are literally built to grab your attention every few seconds. Takeaway, figure out your top 3 time bandits and remove them during your most important hours. Phone in another room. Notifications off. One protected hour where nothing gets in. Protecting your attention isn't selfish. It's just necessary. Fourth lesson is about the people around you. And honestly, this one doesn't get talked about enough. The book says the people you spend the most time with quietly shape where your life goes, whether you notice it or not. This isn't about cutting anyone off. It's about being honest with yourself about who lifts you up and who keeps you comfortably stuck. Here's an example that probably feels familiar. Someone's trying to build better habits, but their friend group treats ambition like a joke. Every time they bring up a goal, it gets laughed off. Eventually, they just stop mentioning it. And slowly they stop chasing it too. Now imagine that same person spending more time with someone who actually takes their own growth seriously. Suddenly talking about goals feels normal again, not awkward. Takeaway: pay attention to who you're spending your time with, especially right now while you're trying to grow. You don't need to disappear on anyone. Just notice who quietly pulls you forward and who quietly pulls you back. That's the first half of the lessons in the power of focus, and you can already feel the pattern here. This was never a book about grinding harder. It's about choosing, carefully protecting your attention like it's actually valuable, because it is, and building small habits instead of chasing big dramatic overnight change. Coming up next, one more powerful lesson of truth most people completely miss, and the single biggest idea in this whole book. Let's keep going with the next big idea, and this one's about goals, specifically why most of us never actually reach them. The authors make a point that feels almost too simple, but it's true. A goal sitting in your head is just a wish. It has no shape, no deadline, nothing to hold you to it. But the second you write it down with a real target and a real date, something changes. It stops being a dream and starts being a plan. Here's what that looks like. Someone says, "I want to get better with money." Sounds nice. Goes nowhere. Now compare that to someone who writes, "I will save $3,000 by December by cutting these 2 expenses and automatically moving money every payday." See the difference? The second one isn't just clearer, it's actually trackable. You can check in on it. The first one just quietly dies because there was never anything to hold on to. Takeaway: take one goal that's been floating around vaguely in your head and turn it into something specific. A number, a date. That one small step already puts you ahead of most people who never get past the wishing part. Now here's the part of the book that genuinely surprises people. We're taught that big results need big moves. A bold decision, a dramatic leap, a total life overhaul starting Monday. But the book says the exact opposite is true. Real change almost never comes from one huge moment. It comes from small, unglamorous actions repeated so many times they quietly stack up into something massive. And here's why we miss this. Small actions don't feel important in the moment. Reading 10 pages doesn't feel like becoming well-read. Saving $20 doesn't feel like building wealth. One focused hour doesn't feel like building a career. So we abandon the small thing, hoping to find something that finally feels big enough to matter. But here's the truth: the book keeps circling back to those small, boring, repeated actions are the mechanism. Every big result you've ever admired in someone else was built from hundreds of invisible small moments nobody else was watching. You just saw the highlight reel. That's the part almost everyone misses. We wait for the big moment to feel ready to start. But the small, unremarkable start, that is the method. There is no other secret hiding behind it. And now the single most powerful idea in the whole book, the one that quietly ties everything together. Wherever you put your focus, that's the direction your life goes. Not because focus is some magic trick, but because whatever gets your attention gets your time, and whatever gets your time eventually becomes your results. You don't accidentally end up with a great life, and you don't accidentally end up stuck either. Both get built slowly by where your attention goes every single day without you even realizing it. Here's why this matters so much. It puts the power back in your hands. You're not waiting on a right timing or the right circumstances or some lucky break. You just have to decide today where your attention goes and then actually protect that decision. The people who seem to have it all figured out aren't luckier than you. They just decided earlier than most people what deserved their focus, and they guarded that decision every single day. So here's your one small action for today. Grab a piece of paper or open your notes app and write down the one area of your life that needs your focus the most right now. Not 5 things. 1. Then write down one small action tied to it, something under 30 minutes. 10 minutes of movement. 1 page written. 1 important call you've been avoiding. 30 minutes with your phone in another room. Do that one thing today, then do it again tomorrow. That's genuinely the whole method. Nothing complicated. Just steady, focused attention aimed in one direction. Before we wrap up, here's what's worth remembering. Most people don't fail because they're not capable. They fail because their attention is scattered across way too many things to ever build any real momentum. The second you choose to focus even on just one small area, you stop drifting and you start actually building something. Your life was never shaped by how many hours you had. Everyone gets the same 24. It's shaped by where you chose to point your attention inside those hours, one quiet decision at a time.